underway. Here we go. Thank you so much for taking time out to have a look at the Aurum Foundation. We're here to just give you an overview. We're not here to sell you anything. In fact, I don't have anything to sell. The only thing I could do is probably refer you to a website, and what you do over there is your business. I'm not, I don't work for the company. I don't get paid to present this information. I was just asked to share what I found out about it, and I did my own due diligence. And of course, you are perfectly entitled to do your own. Of course, I would recommend it. Particularly when you're getting involved in any kind of new business, it's always prudent to seek, I suppose, expert advice. You know, somebody that knows a little bit about the business you're getting involved in. You know, for instance, our family, we set up a transportation company. And when we were, well, before we did that, we spoke to an accountant, we spoke to a lawyer. What else did we do? We spoke to a person that was in that industry, and we wanted to know about insurance, about maintenance, about drivers, about all of the kind of things, technology that might work in the industry, et cetera, et cetera. So we were just doing some homework, and you should do the same before you start any business or any opportunity. Now, the little bit of due diligence I did, I was very pleased to come up with this guy here, Mr. Bryan Benson. He's one of the major stakeholders in Aurum. He's also the CEO, Chief Executive Officer. But Bryan started his working career, his working life with a company called Dean Witter in California. Bryan went to university in Santa Barbara, and he left there and went straight into the bank, Dean Witter, and he became a trader over there. But Dean Witter was bought out by a very big bank, a very reputable bank called Morgan Stanley. I'm sure you've heard of that one. And Bryan was a successful trader for Morgan Stanley, but he was headhunted. I think that's the word he uses. He was headhunted. And he moved over to Binance, a different type of currency. You deal with fiat currency in the bank, but Binance deals with cryptocurrency. So Bryan went over to Binance, and he went up the ranks at an incredible speed. In fact, he became a director. He became the marketing director for all of LATAM, all of South America. He opened initially the Mexican market, and I'm led to believe that the company was set up in Bryan's name before Binance took over it. So Bryan's job was to go down into Mexico. He had the Spanish language, and he went down there, set up the offices, did whatever regulations, compliance, business relationships, and established that market. He went as far down as Brazil and Argentina, down at the bottom. He opened those countries, and everywhere in between, he told us. He opened Colombia, Peru, etc. And Bryan brought 20% of the entire revenue for Binance. His piece in the business represented 20%, 1/5 of Binance. So he was a very, very big part of it. He handed millions upon millions of dollars. He created thousands of millionaires in the process. And now, why are we pleased? Because we're dealing with a man with experience. We're dealing with a man with reputation. We're dealing with a man with knowledge. We're dealing with a man with connections. This is important. How is he connected? Who does he know? What products can he bring to the table? You know, can he bring liquidity? Can he bring products and trading teams to this platform to help the likes of you and me? I did a quick Google on him, as you probably will anyway. Bryan is how you spell his name. Bryan Benson. I just typed the word Binance behind it, just in case there was lots of Bryan Bensons I didn't know. That's what I did. I didn't even put in a capital letter. I went Bryan Benson, Binance. Look who came up. I pressed images on Google, and I just wanted to check, was it the same guy? And absolutely. Now, of course, there are images here when he was much younger. I think he prefers to use those younger images. Maybe a little bit vain, Bryan is, because the old hair's a bit like my own. It's receding, but this is more like him. He often wears this baseball hat. I think that's to hide the forehead. But anyway, lovely guy. I met him and his wife. I spent 3 days with them back in, I think it was June this year. And then subsequently to that, I spent another 4 or 5 days with him just last month. And many of you on the call too were with me at that point. Anyway, that's a little bit about Bryan Benson. He is the Bryan Benson from Binance. A lot of people have interviewed him. A lot of people have written about him. In fact, Forbes have written maybe 1 or 2 articles. In one article, they talk about the initial capital set to establish this was $12 million. And the valuation that Aurum had at the outset was $100 million. And I think Binance wrote about that as well. I could get you the articles, but the point is the technology, the AI, what they had done in terms of their product offering and their valuation established them at $100 million at the outset. It says here that Aurum provides institutional grade trading. That's important as well. Institutional grade trading is a different kettle of fish. It's a different than the Wild West. It's more managed. It's got a tighter risk management profile. All the big companies like BlackRock and all the traditional banks, they use institutional grade trading. It's not some kid sitting at home trying to do his best, of course. And we've heard this from Forbes. Forbes, I'm sure you know, they do a lot of data research before they list the wealthiest people in the world, before they do an interview with the CEO. But we were pleased to see that Forbes had written favorably. We were even more pleased to see that the issuing bank of the Visa cards obviously have done their due diligence on this company as well. And that's important for people like me and you, because you would imagine that the issuing bank would have to know, well, who is this company? Where are your offices? Who are the directors? Who's the CEO? Let's see last year's accounts. Show us your licenses. All of that you would assume would be in place before Visa would allow Aurum to co-brand and before they would partner up with a deal like this. This card is exceptional. I'll talk about it later. It's no ordinary card, I'll tell you. And we'll take a look at that just in a while. And then finally, on this piece, we were very pleased to see that the CEO of Aurum was one of the speakers at the largest blockchain summit. That was on the 1st and 2nd of October. It was down in Singapore at the time of the Formula One. Ladies and gentlemen, there was 25,000 people attended this event. The tickets were $999, $999, $1,000 to get in. On the last day, if you didn't have a ticket, you were paying $1,400 to get in and see this gentleman. In fact, he was speaking alongside his buddy, his old friend, Richard Tang. Richard and Bryan worked together in Binance. When CZ, the owner of Binance, moved on, Richard got the job. Bryan was disappointed. But of course, Bryan's now, he's got the sleeves rolled up over here. He's ready to take them on. He's ready to start the Aurum platform, and what a platform he's putting together. I was speaking to him not only today, but on many occasions. I was assuming this point of sale terminal was away in the future, because we just watched, before this presentation, you watched a 5-minute video of the roadmap, and these were featured in it. These machines accept fiat payments. That's your US dollar, your pound, your euro, the traditional payments, but they also accept cryptocurrency payments. Now, most shops don't have this. Most, 99.9999, don't have this. So this is a two-way machine that accepts crypto and fiat payments. They're working right now on the software in behind it to do micro payments. So in other words, if you were able to maybe to get this into a shop, you might get a little slice of the transactions conducted across it. This is a big part of the ecosystem. The Aurum token would probably be necessary for transaction fees. The ATM machines, again, these are two-way ATM machines. You can put cash into them. You can feed your money in, and it will produce cryptocurrency that you can send to your digital wallet. Alternatively, it does the opposite. They're two-way. Let's say you need some cash. Well, you just go to your digital wallet. You open up, okay, I need $200. You generate a QR code for $200. You scan it in the ATM machine, and out comes the dollars. So two-way, fantastic part of a bigger ecosystem. And then we were pleasantly surprised to see that the exchange just last week has opened for public beta testing. I've already tried it. It worked instantly for me. I would say it's not the fully fledged version, because what you're looking at tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is a pre-launch. The official launch of the Aurum Foundation is on the 17th of January next year. And that's why I think it's important that you get back to the person that shared this link with you. They thought enough of you to share this with you, to get the timing right, that you have an opportunity pre-launch, maybe to do some business here, maybe to get the show on the road here, because it's a bit like, you know, Bitcoin. Imagine somebody called you 15 years ago and said, hey, I want to tell you about this digital currency called Bitcoin. Imagine you had that call. Imagine you took action. You know, how good would that have been? Or even the Binance exchange. When Binance launched its token, it was 0.8 cent US dollars, 8 cent for a BNB token. This is the currency on the blockchain, on the Binance smart chain that that deals with transaction fees. Now that 0.8 cent, Bryan Benson used to get paid in BNB. That's how they got paid their salary. That coin today is over, well, it's very close to $1,000. And I think recently it was over $1,100, and the market's dropped a little bit since. But imagine that opportunity was offered to this community going forward. Possibly next year, the year after, we might be able to get our hands on a token, the Aurum token. That could be quite exciting going forward. But we've plenty of products right now. Never mind what I'm showing you. I'm doing a little bit of futuring there. Here's what I love. I love this product here. This product is better than gold. This product is better than real estate. Would you agree with me that the traditional wealth in this world has been generated by the oil industry, real estate, property, gold, silver, commodities? That's where the rich play. They play there. Now, in traditional real estate, if you're getting involved in commercial property, you'd probably get a yield in a year of between 4 and 7%. 4 and 7%. I'm talking about having a blue chip company rent your property of you. You get somewhere between 4 and 7% a year. If you get involved in residential real estate, housing, that's different. You get a little bit more, would you believe it? You get about 10%, but there's different risks with the housing. So real estate, let's call it between 4 and 10% a year. That would be considered a good yield. But in real estate, you need to go and get yourself a mortgage, a good bank, you need to get a tenant, and you can't liquidate your property fast. You need to find a customer if you want to sell your house or your property. You need to get a realtor, you need to advertise it, you need solicitors involved to do all the paperwork and contracts. You might get your money 6 months after you decide to sell your property. With this product, you can sell it instantly. There's instant liquidity in this product. And this is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solano, Litecoin, USDC, USDT, Shiba. These tokens on the screen, and probably more later, are being offered on the platform as yielding products. What that means is you get between 17 and 20% a year. Now, that's better than real estate that offers 4 to 10. That's better than gold that traditionally take you get about 10% a year. That's probably better than the bond market. Like for accredited investors, that's a serious product on the screen right there. And the good thing here is there's no lock-in. If you take out a commercial mortgage, you might have to pay it for the next 15 years. You don't need a mortgage here. You can take your Bitcoin out tomorrow and sell it. You can take out your Ethereum tomorrow. So I really, really, really like the foundation of this product on top of the exchange, which is really, really good. It beats the banks, no doubt. We don't have to tell you that one, but lovely, lovely product there. Let's listen to Bryan Benson. He's already created 1,000 millionaires over at Binance. He wants to do it again.
I think if I have to sum it up in one word, it's ecosystem. At Aurum, we're building an ecosystem, and we're really trying to focus on getting this thing to a unicorn status. And what I like to say is we want to create 1,000 millionaires. And so if we can do that, then that will be $1 billion business. That will be a unicorn, and we'll be very excited if we can accomplish that. And we're well on our way to that. So
there you go. That's a small part of a larger interview. He's been interviewed by many companies. But I thought that was very prudent to get kind of let's hear from the visionary leader, and that's quite exciting. 1,000 millionaires he wants to generate. Here's the good news and here's the bad news. It's going to cost you 20 quid to try it. 20 US dollars allows you to use their platform. This is a fintech business for $20. I don't know what business you can set up for $20. Any traditional business will cost you tens of thousands of dollars and a lot of time. But here you don't need any staff. You don't need any customer support. You don't need any insurance. You don't need any product development. You don't need any deliveries. This is an international fintech business that you've got your hands on for $20 for the year. How bad? How bad? The only other thing you need is an internet connection. With that said, this $20 gives you access to their products. Let's have a look at some of them. Now, they have quite a few. To be fair, I can't talk about them because I haven't tried them all, but I'll certainly show you the ones I've tried to date, and just to give you an idea and a feel for the products. This is my favorite, the EXI bot. It's been running for over 2 years now. It's at this stage, you can see in the middle of October, it is over $43 million trading in it. Now, let me tell you, they have 7 bots in total at the moment. This is only one of them. And each bot has a different parameter, a different There's a different goal behind each one of them, and maybe using a balance of 2 or 3 of them would give you a balanced portfolio. But this one I really, really like. It generates on average about 17.5%. In fact, the worst performing month was 9%, and that was back in 2023. The best performing month was, I can't remember the month, but I think it was in 2024. They did 23.5%. So those, for some people, think are big numbers. Yes, but no, not in cryptocurrency. I've seen traders that can double your account in a week. Crazy stuff. A lot of leverage and a lot of risk. Here, we've been told by Forbes that it's institutional grade trading. So they have a lot of risk management built in, and that's why you're going to find right now that the profitability is very smooth, very smooth. It used to be choppy when it started. If I could show you stuff I had in the past, it was doing like 18%, and then the next month was 11, and then it was doing 19%, and then it was doing 12, and then it was doing 9%, and then it was jumping up to 15. It was choppy when it started, but now, and I asked the question, why was it choppy at the start, and now it's very, I suppose, smooth. It's because of the AI. The AI is machine learning and deep learning, and it has the ability to reflect on 10,000 previous moves. It can pull the data and make it can make 10,000 processes in a second, faster than human, and without the emotional attachment. The risk management is sensational, and the data feeds coming in from every news channel, from every social platform, all of those points that come into the AI is very, very, very important. How you get that information, where you get it, and how the software acts. So this, guys, is sensational. Now, if they do on average 17.5%, we don't get that. You and I don't receive that. What's available to us is determined by the deposit you've made in your own account. So let's say, hypothetically, you tried $140. Well, that's going to fall into the first category, and you're going to get benefits about in around 10%. Now, this is not fixed, guys. This is trading, goes up and down, but on average, those customer accounts are going to get about 10%. For those of you who can manage more than that, let's say you were able to do $404 or $762, because there's no packages here. You just deposit what you will. But whatever you deposit will find its own category. So those customers in this range will get 11%. For those who can do between 1 and 2,500, you're going to get 12%, etc. Obviously, the bigger the deposit, the better the reward you'll get. Now, I was asked a question. Bryan Benson asked me, he said, what do you think the majority, or where do you think the majority of customers will lie of our database? Do you think they'll be all above $10,000, or where do you think they'll be? And I said, I think that most of your customers will start at $100 or somewhere between 100 and 499. And he agreed with me. He says, I think that too. So he says, that being the case, that's where we make the most money. So if customers are getting 10% and Aurum are making 17.5%, the company makes the difference. They make that spread. They're getting that 7%, which is important. It has to be a win-win situation. It just can't be the customer that wins. It can't just be the customer. So this is how they've carved it out. For those customers that get 11%, the company gets 6%. For those that get 12%, the company gets 5%. So you can see what's happening here. The higher grade customers get better rewards, but I've been told they are those wealthier people. They are accredited investors. There's less management required from them, less customer support required for those bigger customers. It's the little customers that create all the noise. It's the little customers that need that customer support. So that's why it's like that. But he said for the majority of customers, they're making serious money here. So I was pleased to see that. The good news as well is you can take out your profits anytime you wish. And you can also take out, in this particular bot, your principal. There is an early retirement fee, just like there is in any policy, but you can take out your principal on the 1st, the 10th, and the 20th of every single month. If there was an emergency, God forbid, you had a health issue, you needed the money, on the 1st, 10th, and 20th of the month, you can withdraw your principal, but the profit element can be taken out every single day if you desire. Now, I'm going to show you an account just to give you an example. Again, guys, this is not financial advice. I'm just showing you this is a real live customer account that we've taken a screen grab on here. Past performance is not indicative of future results, I must say that, but this account was started, as you can see here, it was created on the 17th of April. Can you see that? Now, I can tell you it was funded with $500, but if we're looking at it today, it says 882. Can you see that? But it was only funded with 500. So if we go over to the right-hand side, for all our new guests, I'd like you to look down to the bottom right. Can you see what it says down there? It says 21:36. That's 36 minutes after 9 o'clock at night. And it was on the 17th of September. But if this account was started on the 17th of April, and we're now looking, let's say at the 17th of September, we're talking about 5 months. And this $500 is now 882. So the profit element is only $382. And you've got to ask yourself, well, is that good? Is that okay? Is that not good enough? What do you think about that? You put in $500, you've now got 882, so you've made 382. Is that any good? Well, the reason I created this slide was because this is not a company slide, by the way. The reason I created this slide was because I had a friend came here and I was explaining. I said, this is amazing. And he said to me, well, what do you mean it's amazing? I said, well, the account started with 500 and it's made 382. And he says, but that took 5 months. I said, yes. He said, but $382 isn't very much in 5 months. I said, well, it doesn't sound like it, but it's sensational. So I went to ChatGPT and I also went to Google because I know how to divide. I know my math. What you do is you take the profit, the 382, and you divide it by the principal, which was the deposit that you made. And you'll find when you take $382 and divide it by the deposit of 500, that this account has made 76% in 5 months. And I told you about real estate. It'll do 10% a year if you're lucky. If you get the right property on the right location with the right tenant paying, you get 10% a year. This is 76% in 5 months. So what I said to my buddy, I says, that's like you buying a property on the 17th of April for $100,000. And on the 17th of September, 5 months later, you sold that property for $176,400. Is that good business? And he agreed it was. So it's all relative, guys, but it's surprising that even the small accounts are making good money too. It's not just the bigger accounts. And I just thought that was a great way to describe the potential of something that we're looking at here on this call. I'm going to show you a larger account for those of you that maybe know customers in that range. This account we're looking at now was set up on the 10th of April. You can see that. It was funded with $10,000. And if you look on the bottom right-hand side, you'll see it says the 16th of May. Can you see that? So it was created on the 10th of April, and we're now looking at the 16th of May. So the account has made $2,360. How long was it from the 10th of April to the 16th of May? Anybody know? There you go. 5 weeks. It was a day short of 5 weeks, actually. And to make 23% in 5 weeks, I thought was super. The next time the account was examined was on the 24th of June. Can you see it here at 138 on the 24th of June? The account had grown from 1236 to 15,500, made another $2,000. So in total, it had made $5,000 in 10 weeks. That's $500 a week. And then by the 10th of July, look at this, another 1,900, 1,900. It went up to 17,000. So 10,000 became 17,000. That's 74% in 12 weeks. And after 16 weeks, this is the truth, this account doubled. The $10,000 is now sitting at over $20,000. Now, there's a reason for that. And again, past performance isn't indicative of future results. But at the time that this was deposited until this date, you can see that this account was reinvested every day. What that means is, if this button is turned on, and by the way, it's not when you open your bank account with these guys, this button is not turned on. You probably won't even know where to find it. So somebody's going to have to show you where it is if you want to use it. It's optional. It's your prerogative. When the trading goes on, the profits are sent to your wallet for withdrawal, unless you decide, okay, I want my profit to stay inside Binance. So you have your principal and your profit stays on the same platform. If you decide to reinvest it, the profit and the principal trade together tomorrow. That's what happens. So you have a choice to take out your profit every day. And I would recommend that if you need cash flow. If your family circumstances are you need money coming into the house every day, well then yes, don't compound. Just take your profit out every day. The withdrawal fees are only 1% plus $1, unless you put them on the card. If you want to put it on the card, it's going to be 2.2%. But if you want to just take it to any wallet of your choice, it'll be 1% plus $1 to withdraw. For those of you that can see the long-term view on this, and when I say long-term, I'm talking 12 months. That's not long-term. If you can do this for 12 months, turning on that reinvestment button is sensational. And you can see what's happened here. The 10,000 is now 20,000. But let's take a look at it on the 10th of November, 2 more months. The $10,000 is now sitting at $33,000. Isn't that sensational? Now, the other little account we looked at there, the $500 that went to 882, look where it is up to. It's up to $1,100 almost, 1,000. So the smaller accounts are doing well. The bigger accounts are doing very, very well. All in all, I think it's a sensational product. If you look over here, there's actually 4. You can have multiple accounts inside one. So let's say this one was to pay your rent or your mortgage, and then you need this one. That's just to generate some money for your holidays next year. And then this one, maybe that's for your granddaughter, and this one's for your retirement, and that one's for you. So you can have multiple accounts inside one if you wish, or you can have it all combined inside one if you press the top up. So either you create a new deposit, which this customer has 4 different deposits, or you top up an existing one. So if you were to press the top up button here and add another $9, this would go to 12,008. So you can top up an account, or you can create a new account inside one bank account with them. When I say bank account, yes, this is called the Aurum Neobank. Neobank is a new version of banking. It's the new digital banking. I would say all the traditional banks you know of will have one of these neobanks very soon. I see quite a few of them popping up. But Aurum seem to be miles out ahead with what they've got. I'll show you some of their other products right now, but that's really, really good. So that's called the EXI bot. That's my favorite. There are other bots. There's one called the Pro bot. There's another called the Zeus, and you find these ones over in Telegram. So if you know what Telegram is, I'm not a big fan of Telegram. I would call myself a WhatsApp user, but Telegram is something similar. It's a decentralized communication channel. So if you go over to Telegram, instead of searching for your buddy's name, just search for the Aurum Neobank. You search for that, you should find, just scroll around there. Once you find it, click on it and press open the app. And if you open up that app on Telegram, you have to log in with your usual credentials that you have on your main site. That lets you in over here. And this is where you order your Visa card if you'd like one of these. And I'll talk about this in just in a moment, but let's stick to the bots. They have 6 more bots over here. So we have that one we've just looked at, but they've got 6 other bots. They trade Bitcoin over here. They trade Ethereum, BNB, which is the Binance token. They trade Doge, and they trade Pepe. That's a new one to me, but they trade Pepe, and they do USDT to Litecoin in the Pro bot. Now, we'll just focus on one tonight because this is an overview. We don't need to give you all the information. This is designed to give you a feeling about the whole project. I want to know a little bit about the background in the company. Tell me a little bit about the due diligence and Visa. Tell us a little bit about the products. That's where we are now. So that's what we're doing. And then if you like the other side of things, we can tell you about the affiliate program. But right now, we're talking about the bots, and we're going to look at the Bitcoin one. This wallet was funded with 0.7 Bitcoin. And this was done on the 31st of May. And the AI took control of this on the 1st of June, and started trading the Bitcoin. And it went from 0.7 Bitcoin to 0.72, 76, 79, and what you see over here now is 0.81. Now, let me tell you what it shows you here. It shows you the opening price of every trade. It shows you the closing price. So you can work out the profit. It shows you the profit and loss. It shows you the spread. It's called the spread. It shows you, there's actually a hyperlink here that pulls you to the exchange where it's traded on. Right now, my understanding is they trade on 4 or 5 different exchanges. They don't have it all in one place because they use the liquidity of different providers. So they trade over in Binance, for instance. They trade on OKX, if you know that platform. They trade on KuCoin. and I think I heard Kraken mention, but there's 3 or 4 different ones that they trade on. So that's where the liquidity is. Now, I'm assuming that when they launch their own fully fledged and up and running, maybe it's going to launch in January, but they have that beta test up now. But I would assume they will pull some of that trading back to their own platform, and they'll be able to show us online live trading occurring on the website as well. So I assume that what might happen when they have their own exchange up now. Right now, they're trading on these big exchanges because they have the liquidity over there. Now, we're looking at the screen here. It says 0.81, and it started at 0.7. It went up to 0.84, 0.82. Then it jumped up to 0.84. You can see where my mouse is, 0.84. It continued to 0.88. And I know a lot of you on this call came across a presentation like this when it was at 0.88, and you followed it yourself. You saw it going to 9.1, 9.3, 9.6, 0.99. And at the beginning of this month, just over 2 weeks ago, it went to a full Bitcoin. So they've taken 0.7 of a Bitcoin and brought it all the way to a full Bitcoin. Now, most people, if they have some crypto, it's sitting on an exchange doing nothing. If you have a little bit of BNB sitting over there doing nothing, it just goes up and down in price. It doesn't change in size. So if this customer hadn't have put it into the bot 6 months ago or 5 months ago, it would still be 0.7. But now they've got a Bitcoin because the AI has helped grow it. So let's just find out what the profit is here. The profit element is 0.3. Does that make sense? It was started with 0.7 and it's now 1. So there's only 3/10 that's made of a Bitcoin. Please tell me, how much is 0.3 Bitcoin in US dollars? There we go, $27,000. Now, Bitcoin's gone up and down in value, but if that was 0.7, that's an interesting one. That's 27,000. How much is 0.7 Bitcoin in US dollars? I was getting that wrong. It's getting me confused. It's multiplying it by 4.7. But you get what I'm saying. This product has made $27,000 without any trading knowledge owned by the customer. It's happened without bringing any customers. You don't have to bring customers to this. It's not part of it. You can if you want. You get a referral link if you decide to use it, but you don't have to. You don't have to attend Zooms like this to make that money. This is your money working for you versus you having to head out tomorrow morning and work for your money. It's a really cool product. Lots of people are loving it. Even the big customers are here as well. Here's a customer did a whole Bitcoin after speaking to Bryan Benson. And this customer, who attends a lot of our Zooms, started with $300,000. They put in 2.75 Bitcoin. It's not 2.75 Bitcoin because it's traded up to 2.81, and it's not even that because it went to 2.9. And one day, this week or last week, must have been last week, he gave me an update and he sent me the update. He's now got 3 Bitcoins. So he started with 2.75. Now he's got 3 Bitcoins, and his goal is to take it to 5 Bitcoins. So really, really good products over here. You can find more about those with the person that invited you here. And now I want to finish with the last product that I'm familiar with, and this is the card. Now, we are in pre-launch. We are trying different banks. We're trying different providers. We have them on MasterCard and Visa card. This particular one that I have in my hand, it requires no KYC. KYC means know your customer or know your client. You don't need to give a passport, a utility bill, or a driving license to get one of these. You can put up to $100,000 a month. You can import your crypto from anywhere. So if you have it on a bank like Robinhood, or if you have it in your crypto in a wallet, I don't know, Trust Wallet, Exodus Wallet, MetaMask, maybe you have it on a centralized exchange. What would you call those? Binance, Coinbase, things like that. You can import it to your bank account here at Aurum and then press top up. When you press top up, it goes onto your card. Now you can spend your crypto anywhere where Visa and MasterCard are accepted. And that means you don't have to go and find an exchange. You don't do this, you don't do that. It's a very simple way. Now, if you don't want to import crypto to put on here, you can put your profit on from the trading bots, or if you get involved in the affiliate program, you made some commission, you can actually send that onto the card, and it gives you a place or a way to use crypto in what we call, I suppose, a fiat world that we live in. So This also works on the virtual element, so you can connect it to Apple Pay and Google Pay. That's all pretty cool as well. They are working in the background to implement a cashback program. So they're speaking right now to merchants and shopkeepers to see, can we attract 1, 2, or 3% from some merchants. Other merchants with bigger margins will be able to offer us up to 10% cashback when we use this card. So they're really have a big vision for this product. They're also going to increase or create a loyalty program where maybe you can get benefits for travel, or even if you're at the airport, maybe the black card holder users can use the VIP lounge, stuff like that. So, but this is coming soon. This part's not available, but the other part is available. The cards will start from $33 when they become available, with no monthly fees. It's a one-off fee. $66 with no monthly fee. $99. These are all virtual cards, but the one with the physical card and the virtual, it has both working, is the $249. And again, we can cover more about that on our trainings to give you an idea. I'd just like to show you it working. This is a friend of mine in the United Kingdom. He was the first guy to actually get one of these way back in June this year. He's had it for 6 months. So he stops the bot trading. He puts his profit onto the card. He just says, top up my Visa. On goes the money, and he goes to the shop. So this was the second transaction he ever did. Have a look at this.
Here we go then, second official transaction.
No, purple and white. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Mina.
There you go. Spending cryptocurrency in a predominantly fiat-based world. So there you go. It also works in the ATM machines when you've got the physical card. We can show you that on training. And that's it, guys. That's our presentation over. So let's do a quick summary. What we did is we looked at the Aurum Foundation. We found out that Bryan Benson is the CEO. We did a quick Google on him, if you remember. He's all over Google, which is great news. He's not an actor. He's the real Bryan Benson from Binance. In fact, he created 20% of Binance's turnover in the districts in the area that he managed. We then saw that Forbes had written positively about them. We found out that he was speaking at the World Blockchain Summit. He was one of the speakers there. Aurum had a stand, a booth at that event as well. And then we also we read about him on Forbes. What else did we do? That was more or less it. We saw that there was some kind of relationship with the issuing bank of Visa, but I can also tell you that some of the customers are using MasterCard versions of this as well. So they're testing it right now before our launch in January. Now, what else? Then we showed you some of the products. We talked about that first bot. You remember? It went from 500 to 882 in just 5 months, 76%. We looked at the same bot that took 10,000 all the way to 20,000 in just 4 months. And then subsequently, 2 months later, it's now 33,000. You saw that. We showed you the Bitcoin going from 0.7 all the way to 1 full Bitcoin. And those are the kind of products. We also talked about what's coming, the point of sale terminals, the ATM machines, and the exchange, and much, much more in development. In fact, if you saw the video that preceded this, this overview, they're going to do real estate, RWA. That stands for real world assets. How would you like a piece of a hotel in Dubai and get paid on the profit it makes, and might only cost you $1,000? So they're going to take real estate property, they're going to subdivide it into fractions, and on the blockchain, you can own assets, real world assets. You can maybe buy $100 worth of a hotel, or $400 or $4,000. You don't have to get a mortgage. You don't have to run the hotel. You don't have to, but imagine start building a real estate portfolio, because Aurum give you access to real world assets. That's what's coming up. And you just might hear a bit more about that in Dubai in January. Very, very exciting. If it's not a hotel, it might be luxury apartments. It could be, some kind of real estate, and that is endless what can be done. They can take that all over the world by doing these projects, and you can own a little bit of real estate, and you can get the capital appreciation if it's sold. You can get the rental. You get your fraction of the rental and profits generated by that. And they favor Dubai, I suppose, initially, because it's still a growing, magnificent city, and great potential there. Especially with the casinos and all that's coming up in Dubai right now. There's going to be a massive influx of new business and new life in the Dubai region. But these are some of the things that they're doing in the background. So that's it over, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for attending. Please get back to the person that shared this link with you. Get your very valid questions answered. And of course, if you like what you see and you've done your own due diligence, by all means, we'd like to see you back again. For those of you who'd like to stay on, I'm going to do a very short presentation on the compensation plan. We do have an affiliate program because Apple have one. Apple have an affiliate program. Amazon have one. Binance have one. And Binance have one. So Aurum have decided to create a partner program. So let's take you through the partner program. Very, very simple. It's optional. It doesn't cost anything. You can do it or not do it. That's up to you. When you open your account, they do give you an affiliate link. So if you decided to share it with somebody, you get a handshake, you get a bonus. If you don't show it with anybody, that's fine. Doesn't matter. They have 15 ranks in the partner program. They don't do this multi-level thing. It's not like, I mean, this looks to me like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This looks like 7 levels. They don't do levels. They don't do 10 levels or 3 levels or 7 levels. It's unlimited volume-based compensation plan. So you get paid on all of the customers, no matter who brings them, as long as it's originated from your referral link. You could have 9 customers or 90. You could have 900 or 90,000, doesn't matter. You can get paid on every deposit and every profit that those customers make if you have a higher rank than those customers. So let me explain the ranks. The ranks are like, imagine when you left school, you went into work in a shop and you started stacking the shelves and making yourself useful. And after 8 months, the boss patted you on the back and said, hey, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. I'd like to promote you to supervisor. So with that rank advancement, you get a pay rise. So you're going from Nova to Voyager. Imagine 2 years later, the boss says, well, you know what? You're fabulous. You're here with us, what, 2.5 years? We see a position here for you as manager of the store. We'd like to give you a pay rise. That's like going from Voyager to Vanguard. Maybe 2 years after that, hey, we'd like you to go for area manager. Area manager, we have 6 shops in the county. We want you to deal with all 6, not just this one, all 6. You get area manager, so you get a pay rise. And then ultimately, maybe you become a director in the company. So that's traditional business. We understand that. This is identical. Except the boss doesn't pat you. Bryan Benson doesn't, hey, well done. No. You get the pay rise the day you qualify. You can do it fast or slow or not at all. When you start as Nova. Nova means new. A new star in the sky is called the Nova Star. You're the new star in the Aurum business. So what actually happens is if you brought a customer that would like to try this product, you're going to get 3% on the deposit. Okay. Now, Bryan Benson said Binance paid $5 when you shared your referral link for Binance. And here, because the minimum deposit's $100, 3% is $3. So if somebody deposited $100, you're only going to get $3. So I said, well, then Binance is better, surely. And he says, yes and no. He said, if it's only $100, yes. But what if the customer put in $200? Then you're getting $6. If they put in $1,000, you're getting 30. If they put in 10,000, you're getting. So here it's 3% of all deposits. Over in Binance, it's a one-time payment for introducing a customer. So this is better. It's okay. So if you want more than 3%, what you need to do is you need to have the total team volume trading in that EXI bot, that first one we looked at, has to be $7,500. Now, here's the good news. You don't need to bring all of that. You might bring $100 or $400. And one of your customers brings some customers who bring some customers, and the total volume of all of them trading is 7,500. It's quite easy, I think. You should probably do this in your first 3 days, I would say. Part-time, you could do it in 3 days. In fact, one customer would do it. If you find one customer that did $7,500 into the bot, you're Voyager in a day. So you understand, it can be done very fast. It's up to you. Now, what happens is you get 5% on deposits, not 3 anymore. You get an override, yeah? And if one of your customers decided to share it with one of their customers, they get the 3 and you get 2%. You get an override on them as well, to infinity levels deep. You also get all your money back in this example. So if you had started with $100, Bryan Benson says, well, here, there's your $100 back. Now, of course, you've still got your $100 making you money trading, but here's an extra $100, smart contract, straight into your account immediately. You don't have to ask for it. You don't have to wait to the end of the month. $100 goes straight into your account. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? How about getting into a risk-free situation with your new business? Most businesses, they spend 30,000, 50,000, 100,000 establishing them. And the business owner works hard for the next 3 years to claw back that original investment. Here, 7,500 in sales gives you your $100 back, and you still have your 100 trading. Now, you can withdraw that. You can put it on the card if you've got a card and spend it. You can add it to the bot, to the first 100 you had, and start compound. There's lots of things you can do with that $100. But here's another bonus. Now you get paid 5% every single day on the trading profits of all your customers, and theirs, and theirs, and theirs, and theirs, to infinity levels. So what does that mean? Let's hypothetically suggest you tried $100 and I was one of your customers. Well, of course, you're going to get 5% on my deposit. But imagine 2 days later, I didn't tell you, and I popped in some Bitcoin to the trading bot on Bitcoin. I didn't tell you this, right? And the day after, you would get 5% paid to you into your Bitcoin account. Now, you don't have any Bitcoin. You didn't put any Bitcoin in. You put in $100. It was me that put it in, and I didn't tell you. If I made $100 on Bitcoin, you make $5. You make 5% every day. As long as I'm trading, you get 5% on my profit every single day. Let's say I told my sister and she put in 2 Ethereum to trade. The day after she put that in, you would get 5% of what my sister got in Ethereum. And you didn't put any Ethereum in. So you can actually build coin. You can build token. You can build a digital asset without even having it in the first instance with this 5%. It's 5% profit from the team profit. It's fabulous. Now, if you want more than 5%, guess what? Do more work. When $25,000 of total team trading is in that first bot, your direct customers, you get 7% on deposits. If one of your customers gets a customer, remember they'd be Nova at that stage, they would get 3. You get the difference. Now you're getting 4% to infinity generations. You get a $500 cash bonus, and now your daily matching bonus is moved up to 7.5%. Really, really good. Again, you don't have to understand the whole comp plan. This is designed to give you an overview, a feel for the whole show. If you've basically understood what I've said in these first 3 ranks, you've understood the whole thing. It's just more volume, a little bit of structure, and better pay rates. It's a pay rates. You get a $1,000 bonus, a $2,000, a $5,000, a $10,000. Now, of course, I've told you there were 15 ranks. On this page, there are only 8 of them, 7 of them. The other 8 get very juicy. In fact, we have people on this call already hit the elite position. They got a $20,000 cash bonus instantly. We have customers on this call that hit magnet. They got $50,000. We have one customer on this call who got $100,000 not so long ago because they went magnet. It took them 6 months to do it, but nonetheless. Now, you remember Bryan Benson said earlier, he said he wanted to create 1,000 millionaires. If you roll up your sleeves and go to work, yeah, if you stay honest and tell the truth, if you work diligently and hard, if you're consistent, you build a business to dominion. I have no doubt you'll be one of Bryan Benson's millionaires. We have a gentleman on this call who's gone to Mythos in 6 months. Yeah, he lives in Dubai. It's a friend of mine and a friend of many of yours. He did that in 6 months. In 2 more goes, 2 more ranks, he's a millionaire. $500,000 bonus plus the 150 plus the 100,000 plus the 50. There's $820,000 cash bonuses. Never mind what's on the first page. You're getting 17.5% on deposits. You're getting 25% daily matching bonus. And we have another bonus over here we didn't even talk about, which is a shareholder bonus, where you can get paid on the entire global sales. Nothing to do with your business. But imagine getting paid on your introducers, customers, and theirs, and cross line, up line, down line, every line. Imagine getting a slice of the whole world trading volume. Hit some of these ranks and you start getting a share in that every 3 months. And that's our compensation plan over, guys. A couple of pages, quite simple. You don't have to understand it. Here's why. The software understands it for you. You don't need to understand this to make the money. It's a bit like your car. Yeah, you can drive a car, it gets you from A to B, but you don't necessarily know how does the fuel get from the tank all the way up through the center of the car, up into that engine to do its magic, whatever it does in there to get you from A to B. You don't have to know how the engine works to get to A to B. This is a financial vehicle that has the potential to take you from where you are financially today to where you'd like to be. You don't have to understand the engine for it to work. It works. It's already working. You just have to say, I want it, plug in, and we go to work. So with that said, we've taken 50 minutes of your evening, 50 minutes of your day. I appreciate you listening. We've watched 2 or 3 videos there. We listened to Bryan Benson. We saw another video at the start. We saw the video of the guy using the card machine. We've shown you quite a lot, and we've included the compensation plan as well as an overview. So I want to leave it there for this, your first look. Please come back again, come and see it again. And over a period of time, I'm sure you'll find you know exactly how this will work. And I wish you every success, regardless of the decision. I didn't invite you here. I've no link to share with you. I'm only sharing the information and the little bit of due diligence I've done. And I hope you come to a decision that suits you and your family. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much and have a great rest of your day, rest of your evening, rest of your week, and rest of your month. And we'll talk soon. Thank you and good night. Bye-bye.